Yeah.
Call this meeting to order. Call roll.
Mayor Querom.
Here.
Councilmember Newman.
Here.
Gomez.
Here.
McCall. Here. McCramsky.
Here.
Please stand and join us in the pledge of allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, so we get started tonight. Do we have any public comment?
Yeah, my partner's not here, so I'll wait till the end.
Oh, okay, to the end. Okay. Any other public comment?
Is that us?
Jeff?
At the end.
Yeah, you can do it now or at the end.
Well, let's do it now.
Just need to make sure, Jeff, that microphone is, you see a green light. Push it, if you don't, push that button.
Hit the button on top till the green light comes on.
And then you just need to state your full name and...
Jeff Martin, with my wife Ann Martin. Mayor, council members, Pete Nelson, thank you for allowing us to address our concerns to you tonight. Our neighbors to the west, 515 Park Avenue West, have violated several ordinances since moving in early spring of 2020. The ordinance of 0-21-023 stating raising, harboring, or keeping chickens within the city limits of Princeton is permitted only in agriculture zone and residential zone districts. Residential zone districts is restricted. Several of the restrictions in this ordinance have been violated, and I'm going to list those in the order that they happen. N is violated soon after moving in 2020 when you cannot have ducks. Several ducks were kept on the property. Letters D, E, F, and R refer to the size of the fenced-in area. The area is too small for the number of ducks and chickens, and closer than 10 feet from the property line. Ducks and chickens are walked in the open yard several feet from the fenced-in area that they have by the garage to back behind their home, and then they're in a fenced-in area behind their home, but it's right next to their home. A revised ordinance passed September 20th, 2021 says only chickens prior to the ordinance were to be grandfathered and no ducks would be allowed. So the violations, chickens began after the revised ordinance and were never registered. They should never be allowed. They were not part of the grandfather, and the neighbors had more than 6 plus now a rooster and their ducks. You count sometimes up to 11 fall on their property. Since September, we have had frequent crowing all times of the day of the rooster. Halloween, we had around 4:45. We had the rooster noise. Several trick-or-treaters were even commenting on and looking for the chickens and the roosters, and they even saw it, heard and saw it. Other violations include containers of standing water, tall grass, and weeds, and that is a violation of Chapter 3 Property Maintenance Code. We recently had a meeting with an adjudicator, and he sided with us and fined Jennifer during that meeting. So this has all been brought up before, and I think a long time ago you all received emails on this topic. In conclusion, our neighbors Jennifer Miller and owner Adam Kabushi were never legally supposed to have ducks, but have them. They're never supposed to have chickens, as not have them before the revised ordinance, and they're not registered, and they're never allowed to have an enclosure or a fenced-in area because they did not have a permit, and never supposed to have a rooster. Jennifer is challenging you to enforce your ordinance for over 2 years now. Ordinances passed by City Council serve as a purpose as a tax-paying citizen to accept living in the city limits of Princeton and follow those rules. We ask you as city council members, zoning head, and mayor, please enforce your ordinances. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any other public comment? Okay, we'll go to the approval invoices and Commissioner Moore.
I'm going to do invoices first, Mayor.
I'm sorry, minutes.
I move that we approve the minutes of our regular council meeting on October 17th, 2022.
Second.
Motion for second, comments? Call roll.
Councilmember Newman.
Aye.
Gomez.
Aye.
McCall. Aye. McCransky.
Aye.
Mayor Querem.
Aye. Now we'll go to approval invoices with city clerk.
What's that? In the Department of Public Affairs and Accounts and Finances, we have invoices totaling $638,514.74. In the Department of Streets and Public Improvements, we have invoices totaling $258,423.44. In the Department of Public Safety, we have invoices totaling $340,047.94. And in the Department of Public Property and Utilities, we have invoices totaling $1,384,286.33. I usually give the total, but I didn't do the total this time, so
That's a lot.
it's a lot of money.
Yes, it is.
So, Mayor, all council members have reviewed these invoices, and they're submitted for disposition.
I move that we approve the invoices as presented.
Second.
Motion's been second, comment? Call roll.
Councilmember Newman.
Aye.
Gomez.
Aye.
McCall. Aye. McCransky.
Aye.
Mayor Querem.
Aye. We'll go to regular business with city clerk.
Next item on the agenda is Resolution R-22-036. This is a resolution accepting a bid and awarding a contract to D. Fox Excavating to demolish the old water plant for $307,000. Mayor, all council members have reviewed this bid, and it is submitted for disposition.
I move that we approve Resolution R-22-036.
Second.
Motion's been second, comments? Call roll.
Councilmember Newman.
Aye.
Gomez.
Aye.
McCall. Aye. McCransky.
Aye.
Mayor Querem.
Aye.
Next on the agenda is suspension of the requirement for a second reading for ordinance O-22-019, vacating a right-of-way, the suspension would be approved. Mayor, all council members have reviewed this, and it is submitted for disposition.
I move that we suspend the reading of the second reading of the ordinance O-22-019.
Second.
Motion's been second. Pete, you want to address this in the next one? What we're doing.
When the city purchased the 134 acres at the Warnicke site, now known as the Princeton Logistics site, north of the kind of across from the truck stop or the John Deere dealership on North Main Street, we didn't have a project at the time, but when it was first surveyed, the surveyors depicted an extension of Pioneer Drive into the logistics site, but we didn't have a project. After we owned the property for a couple of years, we realized that there was a deterrent to development because there are two national pipelines, gas pipelines that go through there, and we realized that we needed to extend the road physically with concrete and everything over and beyond those easements so that it would not be a deterrent for development. When the engineers created that road plat for the new design, there was no reason to keep the old one. The paperwork has never been processed, I guess you'd say, to remove the old right-of-way. And in order for the sales land description to be correct, we have to vacate that right-of-way from 2008 and reestablish the new right-of-way from 2019 or whenever that was. Anyway, so we're doing this in steps to remove the old right-of-way and implement the new right-of-way so that the land description will be correct for the sale.
So this first one we're vacating.
The first one, you're vacating the old one.
Right.
And the depiction of that right-of-way is on your in your packet.
The motion has been seconded. Any comments from the council? Call roll.
Councilmember Newman?
Aye.
Gomez?
Aye.
McCall? Aye. McCransky?
Aye.
Mayor Querom?
Aye.
Next on the agenda is ordinance O-22-019, vacating that right-of-way into the Princeton Logistic Park. Mayor, all council members have reviewed this, and it is submitted for disposition.
I move that we approve ordinance O-22-019.
Second.
Motion's been seconded. Comments? Call roll.
Councilmember Newman?
Aye.
Gomez?
Aye.
McCall? Aye. McCransky?
Aye.
Mayor Querom?
Aye.
Next on the agenda is suspension of the requirement for a second reading for ordinance O-22-020, dedicating a new right-of-way into the Princeton Logistics site. Mayor, all council members have reviewed this requirement, and it is submitted for disposition.
I move that we suspend the second reading of ordinance O-22-020.
Second.
Motion's been seconded. Comments? Call roll.
Councilmember Newman?
Aye.
Gomez?
Aye.
McCall?
Aye.
McCransky?
Aye.
Mayor Querom?
Aye.
Next on the agenda is ordinance O-22-020. This is the ordinance dedicating that new right-of-way and utility easements into the Princeton Logistics site. Mayor, all council members have reviewed this ordinance, and it is submitted for disposition.
I move that we approve ordinance O-22-020.
Second.
Motion's been seconded. Comments? Call roll.
Councilmember Newman?
Aye.
Gomez?
Aye.
McCall? Aye. McCransky?
Aye.
Mayor Querom?
Aye.
Next on the agenda is ordinance O-21-021. This is authorizing an intergovernmental agreement to participate in the mutual aid box alarm system known as MAVIS. And this is first reading.
That's what I was wondering.
You are correct about that.
Thank you, sir.
That's why you should be reelected. So this is the first reading of that ordinance. I will mention that we have been members of MAVIS. It's been a long time since it's been formalized, and the MAVIS group recently sent out sample ordinances to all the membership in order to kind of reestablish a 2022 reaffirmation of the participation in MAVIS. So that's what this is all about. Mayor, all council members have reviewed this ordinance and is submitted for disposition.
I move that we advance ordinance O-22-021 to the second reading.
Second.
Motion's been seconded. Comments? Call roll.
Councilmember Newman?
Aye.
Gomez?
Aye.
McCall? Aye. McCransky?
Aye.
Mayor Querom?
Aye. Thank you, Pete. We do not have a city manager report tonight because we don't have a city manager present. Under mayor's report, we do have a board appointment.
I move that we appoint to the board, to the Public Arts Commission, Julia Messina, to fill an unexpired 3-year term ending April 30th, 2024.
Second.
Motion's been seconded. Comments? Call roll.
Councilmember Newman?
Aye.
Gomez?
Aye.
McCall? Aye. McCransky?
Aye.
Mayor Querom?
Aye. Then I have a public notice. Due to the following holidays that are coming up, garbage and recycling routes will be as follows. Friday, November 11th, routes will be picked up on Monday, November 14th. Thursdays, November 24th routes will be picked up on Monday, November 28th. Friday, November 25th routes will be picked up on Tuesday, November 29th. Please set your garbage and recycling out by 5 a.m. If you have any questions, call the street department, 875-2631, option number 2. And that's all I have tonight. Any old business from the council? New business, I see we have a...
Yeah, we're in a funny position right now because the Princeton Liquor Code allows for gaming parlors, allows for 4 gaming parlors in the city. One gaming parlor that has been here for quite some time is being their rent is not being renewed. That means they have to find a new place. Well, in 2017, the city council, the planning commission and the city council passed an ordinance that said that any new gaming parlors could only appear in a manufacturing M2 zone district, which would be on the map pretty much the blue areas, the dark blue, that is. So it'd be north of the interstate, out by the transfer station, and that's about it. So this enterprise that's being vacated from their existing place, because their address is changing, they have to apply for a new license. And because it's a new license, they have to, the way things stand right now, locate it in M2. Interestingly, the attorney for that enterprise suggested that was pretty restrictive and that they would still like to remain on Main Street somewhere, but our code won't allow it. So they asked that we consider this, that they would like to somehow be back on Main Street, and in order to do so, we would have to add another parlor license to our code. Right now we have, like I say, a maximum of 4. You'd have to have at least 5 to accommodate this group.
Could we retire the one they're vacating?
Well, the landlord is expecting to get that one.
Whoa.
And because there is a prior use there, he'd probably have priority for that. So it's a little bit of a, forgive me, Jeff, and,
That's all right.
it's a chicken and egg thing. But it's an interesting legal question. And John and I have talked about it kind of back and forth, and we think this is the conundrum that we find ourselves in. So the council can pass an ordinance to add an extra parlor license, but probably more importantly to the enterprise is that they don't want to be in the dark blue areas. They want to be back on Main Street and are asking for the council's or the planning commission's or both consideration to change the code the way it sits today.
What was the reasoning for pushing it out?
Well,
What year was it?
2017. In all honesty, I think that so many games came into town so quickly that I think people felt that we were being overrun by gaming. So I think plain and simple, that's what it was at the time. So I guess I'm just throwing it out there for if you wanted to consider that, or
They want to be on Main Street. They want to stay on Main Street somewhere. We have different zoning areas throughout Main Street as well.
right. And the parlors typically have been in business B2 districts, which would be the red zones on that map. And
Is that north end or south end? Or?
it would be basically north of the tracks, but south of the interstate. It would be from Hudson Street to Peru Street. That's it. Well, there's a couple scattered ones, but there'd be mostly there'd be West Peru Street, as you can see on the map, out by Browning or Prescott Motors and stuff like that. So, we're kind of in a place where, we got some feedback way back when that, enough is kind of enough. Now gaming is a little bit more of is a little more commonplace. Maybe attitudes have changed. Certainly the council, I think, has changed makeup since that time, and I think the owners of the enterprise are just kind of appealing to your sense of judgment that you might.
Do we draw a line then and say, okay, that's it, we're here, no more?
Well,
That's a choice.
that is a choice.
why don't we make it conditional that they buy the J&J one stop out there, tear it down, they can.
Did we write this ordinance after the current ones are in? When 2017, I can't remember how long some have been here. So
We
those
did.
are there, and we wrote it afterward for that fact.
Yeah, basically everybody that was in there, we didn't think we'd get any more, because really, how much gaming can people handle?
Well, and that's the thing I look at. I
Apparently a
think
lot.
we're oversaturated. It's one doesn't the other, right? If we had another bar come in town, bar or restaurant, they would maybe seem at a disadvantage if they weren't allowed gaming in there. But we're looking at gaming parlors.
Those aren't parlors.
Keep in
Right,
mind-
but I'm just saying in general, right? Just gaming in general, right? So, I guess the question is, how much can we handle without it? You obviously don't want to overrun Main Street. I think the reasoning for that there was right. You don't want to take away from the historic part of the city that we've always had and give that look. But
It's
kind
not
of
a
drawing a fine line right now with what's kind of going on in the current business that is bringing dollars to the city.
Well, no, and we made an informed decision back in 17 based on what we knew and the people that were discussing this, and that's kind of what we came up with. And now we want to kind of cast that aside and say, nah, maybe that wasn't the right decision to make. So if so, if we were to open this up, I think we need to be very restrictive, and I think we need to say that if we do something like this, that we would allow how many? 1, 2, 3, 6? What?
Can we look at this as like a kind of a grandfather thing? I know the ordinance is straight saying, hey, this is a one-time thing because of what happened with that business. They didn't have a choice. Well, the rent not being renewed.
The problem with that is that you're always going to have that
Someone
happen.
else, you're going to have it, yeah.
Yeah.
It's true.
And I know the ones that are, not the ones that are vacating, but the property owner, the landlord, he can't technically, or they can't technically get one until the other one's about. Is there anything in there that would state that they would not get a license to whatever reason it was? I don't know. But again, you do have to be careful into how many you actually would bring into the Main Street area.
We don't really know if the landlord could acquire a state license to run a gaming parlor, do we?
Well, again, when John and I kind of talked this back and forth, we thought that he probably would be in a position to get one. But
So then that would put us at the same level we were at beginning with.
well, you'd be plus one knocking on your door
Plus one that
to let him back
wants
in.
us to extend that.
Yeah. Now keep in mind that this is just for parlors, and parlors are defined as those enterprises that just have 6 machines and serve alcohol. That's it.
Like Susie's.
It's not the gas stations,
Yeah.
generally speaking. Although one of the gas
Do they
stations-
have a spot in mind yet?
What's that?
Do they have a spot in mind?
No, because I think they were shocked when they saw where the M2 was, and they're not making any offers out of the M2s. Most of the M2 is farmland, in all honesty.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Don't you think they maybe need to provide us with a proposal? Here's what we would like to do, and with some detail.
can certainly run that at the flagpole.
But right now, they just want free reign for them to decide whatever they want. I think we should say, well, show us what you have in mind, and let's see if this is suitable to the city.
I agree there.
Fair enough.
I think it would be restricted, Mark.
Frankly, I think north of the interstate, or south of the interstate and north of the train tracks is more acceptable to me than heading south. But first, I'd like to see what they come up with.
Okay.
I know we all did not appreciate having a gaming parlor on South Main Street, and we were glad to see them go. We don't want to repeat that mistake. So maybe they should come to us with a detailed proposal what they have in mind.
Okay. Yeah, I agree with that. Sound good?
I will share that.
All right. Any other new business from council? Public comment? Jim? You're going to solo it?
I guess I'm going to solo.
He's an old man anyway.
Just state your name and once you get started.
copies, so I do not have, let me get these three,
That's okay.
so we can share. Good evening.
Yeah, but the battery actually might be dead, Jim, so just talk loud.
Okay. Just use my natural voice.
That's your natural voice and charm.
My name is Jim Argle, live at 1020 South Church Street, member of the Princeton Lions Club. And the Lions Club for several years, probably 30 plus years, ran the Christmas parade events in Princeton. Up about 4 years ago, our club, as most clubs, do not have as many members. And we were not able to function and do the things that we had been doing before. So at that time, we put a plea out to the community and asked if we could have help. And we were very greeted by many members of the community. And so we formed a committee, a Christmas parade committee. And with that, we have extended our activities that we do on those 2 days. Our parade usually consists of 30-some entries or units, and we've had up to, I think, 38 entries at one time. Weather always depends on how well we do. Last year we had a great weather, but then we had COVID, which limited some of our activities. So in those years, as I said, we've expanded. The sheet that I gave you on the back side just shows some of the Christmas parade events. The other side shows what's going on between now and the 3rd of December. The two columns to the left and center are events that are occurring very soon. And the ones on the right are the Friday and Saturday that we're involved in, the 2nd and the 3rd. So you can see some of the events that are going on there. The main two that, as Lions, we're involved with different ones, but the main two that we do are the parade and the after parade activities. And the parade takes off at 1 o'clock from North Main and Marquette and go down the Main Street to the courthouse. After that, we go to the fairgrounds, and we have the buildings out there, and we have activities for kids. Our first year, we did them at the hospital. I don't know if any of you were around at that time. It was a very crowded event. There were a lot of families that were there. So in the past, we've been able to get the fairgrounds. Last year, we were not able to do it because of COVID, so we had a drive-by with a gift bag and different things that were there. And they drove up, we handed those out to the children. So this year, we hope to be able to resume out at the fairgrounds and have the events out there. The main purpose, or one of the main functions that we have incorporated with our parade, is helping with the food pantry. And we have been very successful in that, of collecting food and money for the food pantry. And Vanessa was going to be here tonight to talk a little bit about that. Their needs have really grown. I know she said the month of October was the busiest month they've had, even with COVID. And the reason for that is the economy and inflation. More and more seniors are needing help. So we're pleased to be able to help with that and work with the community in that. We have, starting today, our containers or boxes are going out into the community. I don't have that list. Vanessa had that and was going to go over with that. But we run that for a month from now until the 8th of December. So just wanting to let you know kind of what we're doing and what's coming up. One of the things, and I was going to talk to Tom a little bit about that, I know Adam Lynn, who is the EMA, had talked to you about some help with no parking. The main help we need with that is Marquette. We do our lineup on that street, and then LaSalle is where we line up all the fire trucks and everything else. So if we could just post something that says no parking after 12 o'clock, that would help us, because we have cars that are parked there. We try to get units in there and lined up, and we've got cars everywhere. So if there's any way that you could help with that and talk to Adam, we sure would appreciate that. So that's pretty much what I wanted to talk about, just let you know what's coming up and what's going on, and would appreciate any support that you can give us. I know Teresa's not here tonight, but Jenica's been working with her and giving her the information. Hopefully we can get different departments involved in the parade. We have in the past had the electric company and different ones. The police department helps us out very much. And the fire department usually has an entry. I know one year we had police department that helps us get started and leads us down the parade and route. Well, they got a call. We had nobody there. So I was directing traffic, and one of the other guys kind of led the parade, or put it at the end, kind of kept the traffic going. So we do have times that it becomes quite difficult to get this all pulled off. So I appreciate your time, and any way that you can help, we sure appreciate it. And we'd love to have you in the parade. We have different things. You can ride on floats and different things. We have Santa in the trolleys, so you won't be able to get the trolley. Unless you'd like to be Santa or one of the elves. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. And thank you to the Lions Club. You know, Lions Club, they've always been there for the city of Princeton for decades and decades. They're just a great organization. And it's always sorry to hear the diminishing numbers, but I know that that's happening all over. So, again, thank you. Any other public comments? Okay, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Oh, one more thing. I forgot to include it in here, but there is going to be a bridge outage on 6th Street, the bridge that goes over the railroad tracks. That will be closed on Wednesday from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m., and that's for routine bridge inspection. So the bridge over the railroad tracks on 6th Street, both ways, will be restricted or out from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. 10 a.m. to 3 p.m., yeah.
Okay. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn to executive session and then to reconvene at our next regular meeting.
I move that we adjourn our regular meeting tonight and convene an executive session under Illinois statutes for setting a price for sale or lease of property owned by the public body. The next regular meeting of the City Council will be Monday, November 21st, 2022, 7 o'clock at City Hall.
Second.
Motion has been seconded. Call roll.
Councilmember Newman.
Aye.
Gomez.
Aye.
McCall.
Aye.
McCransky.
Aye.
Mayor Querom.
Aye. Thank you all for attending. This meeting is adjourned.